Hello, it's Thursday. We're here to do week 2 of our Halloween series. So in case you missed it, last week we did a very beginner friendly No-So Ghost. I will link to it up here. And this week we're going to be looking at Franken-kitty. Okay, so the pattern that I'm going to show you how to do today, I've actually used to make 3 different characters already. So first up, if you make him all in one color, he just makes a very normal looking little cat. But I've also used him to make a Frankenstein and a zombie. So you should plan what colors you want to use for today around what monster you're actually trying to make. I'm going to be making another Franken-kitty. A written version of this pattern will be sent out to my patrons and will also be available in my Etsy store. So I'll leave a link to both in the description down below for anyone who is interested. Let's get into tools and materials. Okay, so for tools and materials today, you're going to need 8-ply 100% acrylic in a couple of different colors. So you're going to need a main body color, a color for his patches, an accent colour for the stitching, and a small amount of black to stitch on his face. And if you choose to do a zombie kitty instead, you will need the same number of colours, they're just a bit different. You will also need a pair of 18mm safety eyes, your 3.5mm hook, scissors, pins and needles, and some stuffing. So grab your main body colour and we're going to get started. We are starting at the top of the head and we will be working down the body. So there we go. So we complete a magic ring of 6 in our starting colour. We are then going to do the first half of row 2, which is 3 increases before our first colour change. So that's them there. For this pattern, we will always complete our colour changes in the stitch before we need the new colour to be active. So because I need the next stitch to be in my green, I'm going to frog that last orange stitch and do our colour change in that one there. So I'm going to start by starting a normal single crochet. So inserting my hook, yarning over with my old colour and pulling up a loop. So I have 2 loops of my old colour on the hook there. I'm then going to hold that colour out of the way and pull in a strand of the colour I'm changing to, which for me is this sort of acid neon green. And I'm going to hold that colour along my hook as well. I'm going to pinch my new colour at the base of the stitch and I'm going to yarn over with the new colour and pull it through both loops. So that completes the last single crochet in my orange and it should leave my green active on my hook ready to go. Note I'm still pinching at the base of that stitch to hold it in place. So I'm now ready to just continue making that row in the green. Now, because there are so many color changes in these rows, we're going to be carrying our colors along underneath rather than cutting them off and starting again each time. So you'll see me here just stitching over the top of that orange at the same time as I complete the rest of that row. So that's what your work looks like at the end of row 2. So in that last stitch of the green, I need to change back to my orange. You'll note that both strands are sticking out the front the way we like them. So I'm going to frog that last stitch of the green and I'm going to change back to my orange. So I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over with my old colour, 2 loops on my hook, pull that one out of the way. So yarn over with my new colour and complete the stitch. And then I'm ready to continue on with my orange, this time stitching over the top of the green. So we're going to just continue to work the head up like that for the next 5 rows, swapping between our 2 colours and carrying our old colour underneath. Alright, so there is our original Frankenstein head patch worked up, which will look like this when it's stuffed, and you can trim off the colour you were using for your patch at this point. Now, if you wanted to do a zombie head patch like I've done here, you actually complete the patch in the exact same way, so just using single crochet, there's nothing fancy to that. It's just once you've stuffed it, you come along and you do some top stitching to add some squiggles to it in the exact same colour to give it that brain texture. So that's the only real difference there. Okay, and now for the next 4 rows, we're going to be working all in our body colour. And this is just a reminder that for this pattern, and any of my patterns really, increase 3 means put 3 single crochet into the same stitch, and decrease 3 means work a decrease over 3 stitches. Now look, put that down. I'll feed you after we've done filming, okay? So that's the head mostly complete now, and we're going to go ahead and pop our eyes in at this point. For Franken-kitty, I'm positioning one along the edge where the 2 colours meet, and then just follow that row around and place the other one in the same place on the other side. And don't forget to snap the backs on. Now, for Zombie Kitty, I deliberately placed one of his eyes a little bit lower down the face, just 1 or 2 rows lower, so that I could give him the look of a dangling eyeball. So with the eyes attached, we are now just going to continue on and finish working up the bulb of the body. So we will be working a couple more colour change patches in. Now you can work in as few or as many as you'd like, but I'll be working 1 more on the front and 1 more on his butt. When you've worked your opening down to 12 stitches around, stop and stuff firmly. We then complete the final row and finish off. Weave your tail through the remaining stitches and pull tight to close and tuck what's left away inside. So that's the head and body piece done. Popping that to one side, next up we're going to create the ears. You'll need one in each of your main colours, so I'm doing one in orange and one in green. Of course, if you're making a zombie, you will only need one. Next up, we are moving on to the front paws. You will need two of these as well, and I'm making one with the colours as marked in the pattern, and my second one entirely in orange. These front paws are exactly the same for the zombie. Then comes the back feet, and again, I'm making one with the colours as indicated and one just all orange. Finally, starting in my green, I'm going to work up a little zigzag of a tail. Now, I haven't stuffed any of the paws and I won't be stuffing the tail either. With all of our pieces made, I have one final step before assembly. Grabbing my purple, I'm going to add a stitch detail around each of the pieces. I'm using the crochet to help space out my stitches, but the rougher they look, the better really. I'm going to make those stitches anywhere my green meets my orange, so I started with the belly, head and butt, but then I'll also do the front paws, back paws and tail as well. For the zombie, I did basically the same thing, but instead of stitches, I made a red outline anywhere the green met the pink. Okay, so it's time to assemble. We're going to start with our front paws. So if you're making the zombie kitten, line them up with the top of the belly patch so that they extend out in front. For Franken-kitty, line the top of the leg up with that same belly patch so that they are directly beneath the eyes. I've put my patched leg on the same side as the patched ear. And then just check to make sure that both paws touch the ground. Right, then we are grabbing our back feet and position them so that they are on the edge of the base. We want them to stick out at a bit of an angle. I've put my patched foot on the opposite side to the patched front paw. Then the tail goes on the centre back. Check to make sure that your kitten sits without wobbling. Finally, the ears. So squish each of them flat and bend the edges towards the front. They should line up with our starting magic ring, with the inner edge of the ear lining up with the inner edge of your eyes. So you should have two different colours and make sure you put them on the right sides. If you're making the zombie, as mentioned, the front paws extend outwards, but the back paws, the tail, and the ear all go in the same locations as with Franken-kitty. We then go around sewing on each of the pieces. Make sure that you match the colour of your yarn you are sewing with to the part you are sewing on. Give a gentle tug to each of the pieces as you go to make sure that they are attached firmly. So while I do that, I haven't settled on an idea for the fourth creature in this series yet, but there were some great suggestions in the comments last week. I saw werewolf, raven, and creature from the Black Lagoon. So if you like any of those ideas, or if you have another idea that's different that you would like to see made, let me know in the comments and I will try and make a decision this weekend. So last but not least, we take a small amount of black yarn and stitch a small X on the end of the nose to finish off the face. And there is your finished Franken-kitty. Alright, that's it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to come back next Thursday for the vampire bat. Alright, bye!